We're all over the world with this movie. It's an extraordinary script full of adventure, and it's on a massive scale compared to the first one. It's almost 100 times bigger, so there's a lot of expectation for the movie, and we're very excited about this one. I think what sets the Fantastic Four apart is, from other comic books, is the fact I think it's much more light-hearted than the others. They point fun at one another. They're a funny sort of dysfunctional family, so you can associate with them a little bit easier, I think, than the other families of superheroes that are out there. And yeah, I think the fact that it's just more light-hearted and there's more comedy involved, and it's more for the family, I think, than the other movies that are out there. Well, we'll have to wait and see how Dr. Doom behaves. He's a great character and so well represented by Julian McMahon. Well, without giving the game away, he has come back to help the Fantastic Four, or has he? What's exciting for the fans is that, we're introduced to the Silver Surfer for the first time, which is synonymous with all the Marvel comic books, not only the Fantastic Four. So it's a very exciting moment for the hardcore fans, and for our movie in particular, it's just a wonderful character in the sense visually. It's just going to be so exciting to see a guy with this shimmering silver glow to him constantly. It's a real challenge for the visual effects team and the special effects team, but I think the payoff when we see the movie put together, it'll be extraordinary.
Now that she's a superhero, I think, and the fact that she found sort of her calling in life and the man that she's supposed to be with, she's a lot more settled as a person, so she's a lot happier and just a little bit more warm and not as sort of stiff and frigid and nervous about things. I think she's much more kind of open and warm. Yeah. I think I like being Sue. I thought, Johnny's ability of flying might be the coolest one, but I like Sue's powers. I like how she is all about protecting people and encapsulating them in these, protective bubbles, the force fields. I dig that. I have to say that I'm very, very grateful to all of the comic book fans because they are loyal and they stand by us, and they are your harshest critics, but they are your biggest supporters, and they've been nothing but completely supportive of us. So it's nice. It's really, really great. And yeah, I can't say more great things about the true comic book fans other than thank you. And hopefully, through their loyalty, we get to do this again. The Silver Surfer is really, really interesting because he's so misunderstood, and I love that my character has a connection with him because she's maternal and she has, great instincts and certainly feminine instincts. The boys are so raw and they're so ready to fight and pass judgment, when they feel like something is threatening, versus Sue kind of tries to look past every situation and see something more beyond the obvious. And that's, I think, something that's really cool about this movie for my character, but also in the way that I, relate to the Silver Surfer.
I think the only way he really evolves is he grows up a little bit. I think each character had room for evolution in the first film, and they did a good job of writing those arcs in. I think Johnny, like I said, he's still Johnny. You can't change the spots on a leopard, but you know, he just he learns his place. You know, it's a team, it's a family, it's a unit. That's how they function. That's how they stay afloat. And he has to fit in that unit. So he kind of at one point is a one-man show and realizes that that's just not going to work. What's not to like about having a superpower? I mean, it's like every little boy's dream, isn't it? You know, what kid didn't run around pretending to be Superman? So it's definitely satisfying the child in me. From what I've seen, from the way they're going to make him look, it's amazing what you can do with computers. I mean, it's going to look exactly the way it looks in the comic book, which is this amazingly reflective metal. It's just beautiful to look at. I think one of the main reasons they did well originally was because it was a family unit. It was the first kind of comic book line that kind of celebrated a group, a team, having to work together. And it is a family dynamic. There are the parents and the children, and it's something that pretty much everyone can relate to. So I think that's why it's managed to find a real mainstream audience.
I guess the notion of a team sets them apart. I mean, you know, most superhero stories deal with a loner, some person with a power or a set of qualities that, you know, that sets him or her apart. Well, this is, you know, 4 different people, and with all their sort of quirks and foibles, and they have to work together toward a common goal. And, you know, they're sort of like this dysfunctional family, and I think a lot of people can relate to dysfunctional families, but a dysfunctional family that's heroic. Well, I wish I really had that power. You know, it makes you feel sort of pathetic sometimes, you know. The other day we did a shot where you know, I'm blocked in, my car's blocked in, so I just simply go and pick it up and bring it into the middle of the street and put it down. And, you know, geez, I'd love to be able to do that for real, you know. There's always these vehicles, these superhero movies, you know, but all of those are attached, you know, they're stuck on the ground, not us, you know, we get to fly. So, yeah, I don't know that you can call it a car. It's sort of a utility vehicle. It can go anywhere and do everything. So it's pretty amazing. The design is incredible. You know, you see these things on paper and you wonder how set deck and, you know, the different designers, the different departments are going to achieve these effects. And sure enough, human ingenuity, it's incredible what they do. I look at Ben Grimm as really the heart and soul of the Fantastic Four. He's the strongest, but he's a gentle giant, and he's, you know, really all mushy inside. And, you know, the idea of him having a love interest in Alicia, to me, actually makes the role much more satisfying. He's not just sort of a grumpy curmudgeon who's a one-line joke all the time. You know, he has a heart, he has a soul. And it's the thing that makes you love the thing.
When the movie starts, it starts with Victor in that kind of casket that he was locked up and shipped away to Latvian. So I don't think he's been through that much. He's probably just been sitting in a box for a while. He's probably pretty angry and he's pretty upset. He's a little bitter, I'd say, and he's a little determined to get back at the Fantastic Four, which is what he kind of sets about doing at the beginning of the movie. He's just a great guy. He's a great guy to work with, and for me as an actor, he just, you know, he's always very encouraging and very supportive, and you know, he loves watching actors do their work, you know, and that's a great environment to be in. So It's good fun. It's a treat. This movie is that kind of fantastical life, that thing that we wish we all could do, you know. I wish I could turn invisible, or I wish I could light on fire and fly across the sky, but I can't. But to sit in that environment, to watch it and all that kind of stuff is, you know, really cool.
It would be great to have a superpower. You know, in the comic book, she's very intuitive and insightful and has sort of a wisdom beyond her years because of the blindness and how it's affected